Alright guys, what is going on? Oink here, and today we have a pretty epic video. So yesterday, if you weren't aware for some crazy reason, that there was a massive flood of information for GT6, loads of new information on cars, tracks, features, everything. The whole website is totally updated with all of this information. There's 2 new videos out released at the same time. Just so much to take in. I must have spent several hours last night just on the forums and reading and all kinds of stuff, and somehow I've compressed that into a 15-minute long video for you guys. Kind of overview summary of pretty much everything that's been announced in this recent update. It covers a lot of things. I'm going to do my best to stay on top of the video to keep it, you know, not long going on forever. So let's get started. And we're going to start with concept video 6. So this is one of the 2 videos that was released, and it's the 6th of their concept video series that they've been doing. We start off with, well, what looks to be shots of the moon, and moon bases and things like that, and satellites and stars and stuff like that. So kind of a little bit crazy. We'll come back to that at the end of the video. Move on to the pictures of Corvette being modeled and things like that. A little bit of generic gameplay here with the Corvette there and a bunch of sports cars all coming in behind him. There's an SRT Viper there, Jaguar, a bunch of other cars at Spa. Then we see a BMW GT2 car, which is first that we see in that series. Then we've got a R8 in a different livery. Multiple cars have multiple liveries now. There's some brand new karts in the game. That's the Expo, kind of some more standard gameplay. Then we're seeing lots of Super GT, GT500, GT300, couple new cars, couple new liveries in there too. A lot of old cars as well. Go back to some more classic cars. These are new. This is actually particularly interesting because I believe this is the Toyota 2000 GT, which was a standard car in GT5, and it's not announced as a new car, so maybe this is the new standard car which have been updated. Again, we're not sure on that exactly. Some more new cars, lots of classics being shown here, compact cars, futuristic cars, and this is going to be exciting for some people. This is the 2013 Bugatti Veyron premium car, so there's that, and a premium Land Rover Evoque Sports, maybe, I don't know, but it's the Land Rover Evoque anyway. Those both new cars in the series. And this is quite interesting. This you might remember from way back. They released some kind of concept video in GT5, which is the Acura NSX concept car. There was the picture of it from a long time ago, perched up on a rock with a new potential photo mode location, which that photo mode location actually was located to be in Andalusia as well, which we know now has kind of come up in the game. Then we got a Pikes Peak car. There are several of these. The track is yet to be unveiled, so maybe it will come, maybe it won't, we don't really know. These we get a shot of what they are now calling base cars. We'll come back to that later, but that black one is what they're now calling a base car. There are multiple of these base cars in the game. A couple new cars. There's another Pikes Peak track. There's a Lamborghini Aventador, followed by a new car, which is the Lamborghini Renton, I believe it's called. Then we see a shot of Ascari. I talked about this in a recent video. It was kind of leaked, not leaked, but talked about. Confirmed now, in-game gameplay there is of Ascari track. Then we've got a Bentley Speed 8, Le Mans cars at LMP, couple new cars, bunch of classics, stuff like that. And we go into this kind of little interlude. Bit of a breather, that was intense. So much stuff going on there. Feel free to go back and pause, have a look at all the little bits and pieces. I may have missed 1 or 2 things, but I think I pretty much got everything in there. As I said, I kind of skipped through some of the new cars because I'm going to go into that later in the video. But yeah, okay, so we're seeing a bunch of their stuff, like the suspension thing. This 7-point suspension thing is going to be in the game, supposedly. Some aero things on the Nissan GTR, things like that. And then we've got a new track. This is what they're calling the GT Arena. It's a track in the shape of the word with the letters GT inside an arena. Sort of a little technical kart track, or really, you know, something for refining your skills, and quite a clever little track. Looks like a remodel of some of the city courses. There's Aston Martin. Bunch of shots of stuff probably we've already seen, some nighttime. Then we've got NASCAR 2013, which is also in the game, and obviously that is also at nighttime, and we get to see the moon once more. And here we go. This is where I just started laughing because it just gets pretty ridiculous. So apparently we can now drive the moon landing rover, what is that, the moon rover is it called maybe, on the moon, maybe, who knows. It's a confirmed car though. The moon, I guess, is a drivable location. I don't know. Just ridiculous. Now this is video number 2. I believe it was called something like atmospheric, or like, I don't know. Basically, the deal here is that they've done some crazy stuff and figured out like all of the proper like constellations and like where the sun should rise and set in terms of where the track is. So for example, in tracks like Spa or Nürburgring or anything like that, the sun will rise and set exactly where it should do in relation to the track's longitude and latitude on the map, and you should see the constellations that you would see if you were there in terms of the stars in the sky. They look a little bit overdone here in the sense that there's no like, you don't see it fade off at the bottom where the atmosphere would really kill some of the contrasts that you see there, and there's no like light pollution or anything, so I don't know if it's going to look exactly like as ridiculous as it kind of looks there, but it's pretty intense. Like, they've got realistic atmosphere stuff and just crazy. I don't know. GT6 is just insane sometimes. I don't know, Polyphony Digital go pretty crazy. Anyway, let's get into the website. So, cars, they've just released the sort of not quite full, but pretty much full list of cars. They said it's over 1,200. The list includes 1,197, so we're expecting a few more cars. Everything that you're seeing now on the screen, there's basically all of these cars, and they've got like 5 pictures, really detailed interiors, exteriors of 5 or 6 cars from each of the different categories, like supercar, sports, classic, racing, all sorts of different. So they've got a bunch of pictures for a bunch of the cars that are in the game. As well as that, there's loads of cars that aren't pictured. There'll be links in the description to this full car list and to the website, but there's 124 announced new vehicles in the game that you can find, as well as all of the other cars that will be in the game. So you can find out all about them, check out all the different pictures. There's some incredible photos in there. And remember, this isn't quite final. It says that it's not quite final. There probably will be some more cars. For example, there's a bunch of cars that are missing, things like that. Anyway, we'll go on to tracks. Ascari, as I talked about, this is in-game photos from the track. It was kind of mentioned, suggested, implied. Now it's 100% confirmed that it will be in the game, I believe, from launch. So this is the Ascari full track. There are variations on the track, so maybe there's going to be different layouts from the start, or maybe as DLC there'll be different layouts, I don't know, but there's Ascari Resort track. Then this is the new track I talked about that was in the video, which is GT Arena, which is both this kind of little technical, very small track in the shape of a GT, but can also apparently be transformed into like various technical sections with cones, like an open area, so we're not really sure. Then we go weather and time. This gets crazy, so you can see here, I'm not going to read it out because I just would be ridiculous to read out every single track, whether it's got weather or time. But go through, have a look. This is all of the real world, original, city, off-road, all of that kind of stuff, with all of whether it has weather changing or time changing, all of that kind of stuff. And if it does, then it kind of, you know, it's including with that like atmosphere stuff that we talked about before, and like the stars and all of that kind of stuff, I guess, is all included if it has like the time variables. And the weather variables, of course, is whether or not you can have it be raining or you know, all that kind of stuff. So have a look back there. Let's move on to the UI. Kind of looking pretty nice. It's a lot sleeker, a lot simpler. Looks like navigation is going to be a lot quicker. Looking kind of Android-y, Windows 8-ish sort of. That's the kind of theme that's looking for. I really like the way that it looks. So it looks like a big improvement on GT5, that's for sure. Then we talked about career mode. So career is kind of revamped. They got this star system to judge like how far well you're progressing and things like that, and so whether you should unlock, so you get stars for depending on how well you do in events, I guess, and then you unlock things quicker or slower depending on how easily you're progressing through the game. And it looks like maybe they're going back to a license system as well, so we've seen some implications of licenses, all of that kind of stuff. So that's the career. Not like loads of information on that so far. Bringing back coffee breaks, guys who played GT4, GT3, all that kind of stuff. You remember in the license test they had these coffee breaks halfway through, which was just like fun little mini games that weren't like, you didn't need to do them, but they were just a bit of fun. This is from inside the arena, so with all these cones that we were saying earlier, maybe these are going to be able to be set up by the user. We're not really sure, but anyway, they're bringing back these kind of fun mini game coffee break things, which is really cool. I really like that idea in that new track as well. Special events are coming back. So far we've just seen this screenshot here of the Goodwood Hill Climb special event, which I guess is one of the special events in there. Anyone who's played GT5 will know the kind of thing to expect from special events. I expect that will stay pretty much the same. In terms of engine, like, you know, dynamics with that, like aerodynamics, suspension, that kind of stuff, they haven't really said anything new because that was all revealed before. Bunch of new pickies, things like that to have a look. Have a flick through. Some heat maps from the aerodynamics. That's the 7-point suspension system on KW suspension. There's Yokohama tires doing some testing. And we go into dealerships, so they've revamped the dealership so that every single car is in its appropriate dealership. There's no standard premium differentiation now. So whilst there will still be this kind of standardization of some of the cars, supposedly they're much improved, but the idea being that, you know, no matter what car it is, you can find it in the dealership that it belongs to. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. All of the dealerships, as well as these featured garages. So if you need like a particular car for a particular race, maybe there's a Super GT race and you need a particular car, you can just hop into Super GT like garage category and find it there. This is your garage, so you have your whole like own garage in here. There's a really cool feature which is it's called, I can't remember the name now, Stockyard, that's the one. So if there's cars that you don't think you're going to be driving, you send it to the Stockyard, which is basically like a list that doesn't have to load each time you load your garage. Helps with loading times, helps with keeping your garage looking nice and tidy in the cars that you're actually going to use. Moving on to the tuning shop then. Bunch of new stuff like different kinds of suspension. Looks like we've got different kinds of brake kits now, so the brakes are actually going to be changeable perhaps. They've got different like variations on things like that. You can see this is like a rally style suspension, or you know, they're going to have different like elements to the tuning, I guess. Then they got all this new added parts. They talked about this a while ago, a bunch of added parts. I believe there's like over 80, maybe 80 or 90 different rims and spoilers and added parts that you can get. So a serious improvement on the amount of additional parts that you can get. You can see like flat floors there, which we talked about on the thread, just for like, you know, underneath of the car, aerodynamics under there. So all of that completely new. You can see here as well, this is like what the GT Auto used to be, except now we've got body repair, which is kind of, I guess, implication that maybe if you actually get damage in the game, like it will stay until you actually pay for a repair, not sure. In terms of painting, there's a kind of new paint system. I think once you unlock a paint, it no longer consumes it. So once you've unlocked it, you unlock it for good, and you just pay a price to respray. Talk about the base models quickly. So I think a bunch of race cars with livery. So you can see the yellow car is a real-life Renault Sport racing livery. Then basically for cars that have one of those, they've then also got what they call a base model, which is the same car without the livery. Still yet to find whether we're going to be able to put our own liveries on that. Still pretty unsure and unclear, but that's the idea behind the base models. Then we got outfits. Not sure if you need to unlock these yet, but again, the idea being that either they remain permanently unlocked, or you can just at any stage buy any of the outfits and customize the outfits as well, so you can get any outfit in any color, things like that, and you can, you know, get exactly how you like it. Photo mode, pretty much the same deal as far as I can see, with one big difference, I guess, is that you can now have two cars in the photo mode shots. So obviously the race shots is going to be the same, but when you're going to photo mode, you can put two cars down, which is pretty cool. Kind of wrapping up now, we go to online. They didn't really talk much here, but this is what we got. So clubs with closed lounges, organized races with the members, maybe on their website, I don't know. I guess also features with the phones, open lobbies, quick matches, which kind of like matches you straight in. You just say like if you want this car, this track, and it will just find you a lobby. And of course seasonal events look like they're going to be making a return from day one. And then they had a bunch of features which are coming in updates after release, which is going to be like B-Spec, Course Maker, things like that. So we're not really too sure what's going on with that, when they might be coming, but I think the idea being that there's a bunch more stuff coming after release that also is there. Anyway, pretty much wraps up everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys soon.